All right, we should be live. Good morning, I wanted to say. It's not really morning, but anyways. How's everyone doing? Long time no see. We had a pretty busy last few days since I went to Madrid, but we're fully back now. Doing a live stream. We'll give some thoughts on Bitcoin. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. The monthly closed on Bitcoin and on altcoins, of course. So a lot to cover. Overall, very good closes, but as we know, it's not because we close bullish that we're gonna go up in a straight line. So yeah, we'll see. Let's just wait like a couple more minutes so some more people can join, and then we'll get started. Evil Rabbit, hello. Night 1996. Ryuko, Salvador. Hello, hello. So let's see. ETH also looking like it might finally get some upside. So that will be interesting to watch how this plays out. But overall, I'm pretty excited about what the coming weeks to months are going to bring. I'm pretty damn bullish on Bitcoin, especially. And I do think we will be trading to new all-time highs, but I'll give my reasonings for that as well. Altcoins, not sure. Maybe if Bitcoin goes to all-time highs, and after that some liquidity flows into altcoins. But it will be interesting to watch, you know, which ones will be the strongest. Will memes have another run? Will it be the older coins, dino coins? Difficult. So yeah, your safest bet, just like it has been the last few months to years, will always be Bitcoin. George, how are you? I'm very good, thank you. How about you? What color is it? Peter, what's up? Good to see you, man. We will do requests at the end, questions and requests, but please hold them to yourself for now. I will first do my own things, do Bitcoin, do some altcoins, and then we'll do some requests. Any video about psychology, risk management? Risk management, yes, I'm making one, especially for Blowfin, since I promised in the Discord that I would do it because I saw some people like trading with absolutely no thoughts behind their decisions and making complete wrong decisions as well. And yeah, I feel like it's needed. A lot of people are still trading on an exchange that they don't know and where they don't know how to actually apply risk management. So I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed, and I thought that it was discussed a lot already, that it was sort of straightforward, but yeah, I've after what I've seen, it's pretty clear to me that it isn't. So we will make a video about risk management and how to apply it on Blowfin. All right, 60 people here, not bad. Welcome everyone to another live stream where I'll be giving my thoughts on the markets in general, but mostly on Bitcoin. Then we'll do some altcoins, give my plans, how I'm seeing things, what I think is gonna happen next, and how I'm planning to trade it. Okay, before we get into the charts, quick shout out to the sponsor of these streams, which is Blowfin. They have been absolutely great for me, giving me all kinds of campaigns where you guys can benefit from signing up using my link. Soon we have something very exciting coming, a trading competition. But before that, right now already, and just whenever you sign up, you can get free access to my Discord group. It's a free group. All I'm asking is to use that link in the description and start trading on Blowfin. If you did so, you can join the Discord and you can automatically give your UID in a bot, which will give you the role. All right, we're currently trading a 10K account that we're trying to run as far as possible. It's been going good. So far, we're sitting at like 70K. So that's nice. We're trading it fully transparent. So if you want to see that, if you want to join the channel where I post all of my trades live as well, more analysis, more live streams, private live streams, go ahead over to the description and use that link. Leave a like on the stream if you enjoy it, of course. If you don't, just leave. That helps me a lot. And of course, subscribe. We're trying to hit 10K subscribers as well. All right. Anyways, enough of that. Now let's dive into the markets. Starting off with Bitcoin, we're gonna be starting on a clean chart and hide all of this. So I will maybe start off by saying what we were watching last week. I mean, when we were trading at the place of the previous live stream, right? And if I remember correctly, it was during this this weekly candle. What were we saying back then? Well, it was pretty obvious to us that there was going to be key resistance, and where, well, around all of these lows that had been acting as a support and where we broke down from right here, right? What did we say? We had clean liquidity resting right there, a clean range with a range low here and a range high there. The lows got swept, and what were we watching? Well, is this going to be a reclaim of these lows that sends prices higher, or is this going to be a sweep and a dump back inside the range, maybe lower, but initially just watching for a move back inside the range and more chop? And what did we say? Well, the weekly wasn't looking too healthy. We didn't have a wick to the downside, which is rare for Bitcoin. If you check all of these weekly candles, I mean, you will find some more, like right here, for example. But most of the weekly candles have a wick to the upside and a wick to the downside. And if they don't, they very often get taken in the next 1, 2, or 3 weekly candles. So right here, it was a fairly easy short for me, since if it was going to be bearish, yeah, then obviously the short would have worked. And if it wasn't, then I was just targeting higher for Bitcoin. So I did short. As you guys know, I will always say when I was wrong, and I was wrong here. The trade ID was, well, we're fully into spot. This is basically one of the last resistances that we need to break above before heading for all-time highs. And we have a clean range with a range high here, a range low here, where liquidity to the downside had been swept. And what were we looking for? Range high getting swept into this former support level, now turned into resistance, that would send prices lower. Okay, we also said, what was our invalidation? Well, if you would run away from the flat bottom on the weekly and close super strong. Okay, so immediately, like obviously I had my stop a little bit closer. I tried shorting it once, took a loss on that one, and it clearly got invalidated straight away. Strong close, and as you can already see right now on this weekly candle, straight continuation. So that's what happened. That's what we were watching in the past. Another reason, like why the short makes sense for me, is because of the amount of spots that you have, right? People think that trading is only about like, now it's gonna go up, now it's gonna go down, and that every person can take the same decisions that are either right or wrong. But it also depends a lot on what you're holding in the background, you know? If someone is like all in spot with his complete net worth, it's a different situation than someone who is purely trading the chart with USDT as collateral, right? Then you can be more aggressive. If you have spots, you already know that if prices are going to rise, you're already gonna make money on that. So it makes sense to be a little more aggressive on the short side, right? And that for me was also the case. So I knew that if my short would get invalidated, that prices would trade a lot higher, and that my spot would make a lot of money, as I'm like over 50% in Bitcoin, and or maybe over 60%, I would have to check. But anyways, so now that ID that we were going to trade lower got invalidated, right? Wouldn't even say it was an ID and that the probability was very high, but it was a valid ID as I was holding spot, right? Now, weekly close, super strong. As you can see, small dip to the downside to create the lower wick, and back above the weekly open and looking strong. Swept low time frame, high time frame liquidity, but ugly liquidity above these two highs now as well, that we were watching if we were going to break above this high and close strong. Those two are gone now, right? So that's something to keep in mind, and I will mark those levels out as well. What else is important is, of course, the monthly close. Monthly, if we take a look, this is how the monthly looks at the moment. And I think we can all agree that this doesn't look that healthy, right? You don't have a wick to the downside, and just as it is on the weekly, it's exactly the same on the monthly. Monthly, weekly, and daily are the three time frames where this sort of, I wouldn't really call it a strategy or something, but it's something to keep in mind, like the wicks to the upside and the downside. On those three time frames, it works the best. You need to have a wick to the upside. Well, you don't need to. The market doesn't need to do anything, but there is a very high probability that a daily, a weekly, or a monthly candle is going to have a wick to the upside and to the downside. And even if it hasn't, that it gets taken in the next candle. And that information is something very powerful that you can use on the lower time frames to form your trade IDs. All right, so that's something that I always will keep an eye on right here as well, and I will always straight up mark it out. Boom, you would give this a name, flat monthly bottom. Okay, like this. I mean, just if you've been watching the charts for a while, and I think a lot of you have, you can already see that it doesn't look healthy, right? Could need a wick to the downside. Anyways, then we zoom in. Weekly we already did. Watching this, maybe this lower time frame supply area right here, right? If we break above here, it's off to like 105, and that's really gonna be the last resistance before we break to new all-time highs, and in my opinion run hard to 130k. Yeah, what else I was gonna say? Something else I was gonna say on the monthly, right? Because it might now seem like, because it doesn't have a wick to the downside, that I think that we're gonna trade a lot lower. Well, that's not the case. I just use that information to keep in mind that it's possible that we trade lower first before trading a lot higher, because I didn't say anything about the previous monthly close, but the previous monthly close was super bullish in my opinion, and we couldn't have asked for anything more. We had these three sweeps of monthly candle lows. The previous monthly candle was already swept. We still have a draw on this monthly candle, also barely a wick to the upside, so that's gonna be next in my opinion. Reaction there will be key. But just overall, if you look at market structure here on the monthly, right, we still have from here higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So I don't see a reason why this sort of structure would lead to higher prices and this one wouldn't. So overall, I'm bullish on the monthly. And what do I use to sort of give me an idea on where I want to target for those longs? That would be Fibonacci, of course. Use the high from the move to the low from the move, and then mark out those 1.618 and 2 levels, and those will be my targets, right? As you can see, it's around, it won't be perfect, you know, maybe sometimes, but just overall, if you can exit around there, just average out, that's a great play. By the way, if I remember correctly, yeah, look at this. From the November 2021 high to the bear market bottom in November 22, if you draw those levels from the high to the low, where would you have been targeting? 1.618 level, which was 102,000. Overall, a level where we halted trading, and as you can see, definitely found some resistance. Okay, but anyways, if we use this to give us a target of where we would be trading next, the first level that of my interest would be slightly above 130k. That's why I've been talking. I've made a tweet as well on the monthly close that I was targeting 130k next. Well, now you know why, right? Just use those fib levels from the high to the low, and that's where I'm gonna be targeting. Okay, so with that being said, let's mark these levels again and hide this. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, monthly, right? Not looking healthy. Another thing that I use a lot, right? Of course, order blocks, supply and demand, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people have different names for them, but they basically all mean the same. Sideways price action that leads to a bigger move. Sideways price action that leads to upside means that people were accumulating longs in that area. When price returns to that area, those people gonna want to defend their positions, which often results in buying pressure, and the other way around. On the higher time frames, what people sometimes use for order blocks is mark the order block out with a high, the closest, I mean, the low and the high, and draw a range in them. And as you can see, so you see what I'm doing, low to high, mid-range, that's also the area where we're coming to on the lower time frames here. And as you can see, this area in general has been pretty pivotal, right? Resistance here, here, pivotal price action here, boom, wicked in there, resistance, and we're coming into there again. So in my opinion, those are reasons to be cautious here and not to rush into longs, because in my opinion, either we go down from here to take some lows and see higher then, or if we start breaking above here, then I think it's off to the highs up here into our last supply at 105, where I just talked about the last resistance before all-time highs. So using all of that information together, right, what am I watching here? Well, as I said, we have that flat monthly bottom. Together with that, on the lower time frames, we have some lows resting right here, unswept lows. Low right here. So using that information that we pumped into resistance, into this range mean of that order block level, we have a flat monthly bottom. What, in my opinion, would be simply the most bullish thing to do is to go early in the month for that flat monthly bottom. While we're at it, not do this and start pumping again, but go for all of that liquidity lower there. People will say it's over again, and that's when we bounce, flip back above the monthly open, and then truly have the strength to trade towards well, above 100k, above 110k, towards new all-time highs, and into finally the main target that I'm watching, 130,000. All right, now this can get invalidated very quickly, right? If we make another leg here, we have some lower time frame highs still unswept, some lower time frame lows still unswept, but I wouldn't be surprised if the next move, if we move up from here, that it's something like this and a dump back towards here, and that we start cooling off a bit. What would invalidate it? Well, as I said, a daily close above, let's say 98k, 98 to 99. If we start closing above there, yeah, then I think we're going for 104, somewhere around there, and I will see again. Okay, but for now, what am I watching? I'm looking for a higher low in this area, ideally to fix that monthly candle and then have the strength to pump a lot higher. Let's quickly show you the difference that would make on the monthly chart. Currently it looks like this, and then it would look like this. You see the difference? I think we can all agree that this looks better than this, right? So that's what I'm watching, whether you agree or not. I did enter a small short this morning because I thought that we had this flat 4-hour low as well. Unfortunately, we pumped higher from it, so I'm currently underwater, and I think we might even take a stop out because could see us, like I said, wick above these lower time frame highs first before heading lower. But I might try again then if we do this and I see weakness, right, to trade it lower. So I am in some very low time frame shorts. What was the plan? Well, target down here and see the reaction. If we close 4 hours sub here, I think that this might be the sweep above here done and lead to the move below that monthly flat low and all the way down in here. So that little trade with a very tight stop loss at that point could turn into a bigger swing. You see, but yeah, low time frames, I'd be cautious about cautious with rushing into longs. All right, I hope that's clear. Any questions from anyone? That's basically all I have to say on Bitcoin. So please say so in the chat. It didn't have a week on the monthly on January 23 and December 23. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna have a week more often than it's not gonna have a week. That's just facts, you know. That's backed by data. So, but yeah, if you base your trades based on those flat bottoms and flat tops, you are gonna be wrong. Just like I was wrong on this one right here. I also shorted because I thought that we would at least take this flat bottom. We didn't. Maybe we still do in this weekly. Who knows? But yeah, like I said, here we didn't have one as well. Let's see on the monthly. Yeah, still here they still have a wick. You see, it's a small one, but here as well. So you are gonna be wrong, but yeah, that's obviously part of the game, you know. All clear. Would you love your followers if they were worms? Yeah, sure. Is there a reason you use Bybit Perpetual instead of Binance on TradingView? No, not really. Sometimes I use Bluefin, sometimes Bybit, sometimes Binance, sometimes Coinbase. It depends on what charts I'm currently charting on. Back in the days, there were huge differences between the charts, right? The one wick on one chart was like hundreds of dollars lower than the other. But right now there's so much liquidity in the markets that you barely see it. I mean, it still happens, but most of the time the wicks are around the same prices. But those were the fun days though. The BitMEX chart and watching the wicks there. Anyways. Right, so let's check some altcoins. From a macro perspective, I think there is plenty reasons for us to go lower. Might even come back to the 75-ish level. Trade war isn't over, recession risk surging, nearly no chance for rate cuts in May. I don't know, man. All I've been doing is trading the chart and also using a bit of previous cycle information. And I've been saying that I was going to sell everything. Well, not that now. I mean, like, take a lot of profit on my spot holdings at the end of 2025. And I still think that it would be beautiful if we top, like maybe range a bit more here, but then top around the end of this year. October, November, December, there, put in the high and then back down again. But what I also think is that we've sort of stepped off from the real cycle where we see real upside and then bear market. Like, I think bull markets will become smaller and bear markets will become smaller, if you know what I'm saying. Generally. Yeah, I'll take a look in a second. I'll do some altcoins myself first. So, Ethereum, I guess, first. What were we watching? So we said that we had our eyes on this low right here, right? That got swept. And what did we say for the monthly candle? We wanted to see a close above our monthly range low level. We got that close. We even closed above previous month low, and previous month's high is unswept. So we said if we manage to close above there, the next draw would be towards last month's high. Okay, we got a close. So I am bullish on Ethereum, but once again, this chart doesn't scream upside yet to me. So what I would like to see here, once again, we mark out that flat bottom. And like, I'm gonna say the same thing again on everything, but it is just what I want to see, right? Daily, maybe even lower time frames. What I would like to see here, some downside, right? Take out the lows, and it's even more beautiful on ETH in my opinion. Key area here, key demand, right? The sideways price action that led to quick sweep here, and then boom, right? From this area in general. So clean lows here and here, take them out, take the flat monthly bottom, build the lower wick on the monthly, and then just send it higher towards liquidity on the monthly. First target right here, second target all the way up there. And I'm not sure we're gonna get it, but that would be the best thing in my opinion. So yeah, I am bullish on ETH and targeting higher. Am I straight up targeting all-time highs? No, a lot is gonna need to happen for us to send ETH to all-time highs. But this monthly SFP and a close above range low is at least a start, right? And then we target this monthly high up here into key resistance, and then we see what it wants to do. If it's really bullish and smashes back above here and above range mean, then I think the sky is the limit, equal highs, and up here are next. All right. Similar for Litecoin. We were also watching some news just came out, I guess. Anyways, Litecoin. I do want to watch Bitcoin though, because I'm in a short. I haven't set any TP, so but hey, could stand for the highs here as well. Always difficult when you try to trade something that looks like this with clean highs above and clean lows below. No clean draw on liquidity in those cases, so what you get then is upside wicks, downside wicks, until you really take one side or the other, and then... But let's see what it does here. It's pumping a bit. Let's see if we're right about sweeping the highs and seeing some form of rejection. We'll see. Litecoin. We said we had highs resting. Let's clear this up. We had highs resting up here, unswept highs, and we now have swept lows resting down here, right? And what did we say? Ideal thing on the monthly would be a close above the lows, which happened. We closed bullish, we closed in the green, but once again, from the open, straight to the upside, sweeping last month's high, right? So once again, mark out those flat bottoms, and you will see that you once again have a clean plan where ideally we take those lows, boom, and then flip the monthly green again, and then we can target a lot higher. For Litecoin, I would be targeting this area first. Why? Because this is the sideways price action that led to all of this downside. If we get above here and we start sweeping liquidity here, I think we will see a real breakout and a lot higher. And I'm talking like a lot. Because fast moves right here could mean fast moves to the upside. So that's why I think we need a break above here. But once it starts squeezing, like FOMO will kick in, people will get stopped, people will get squeezed, and I think we really run it. So 88 right here, like if you don't have any, in my opinion, a good buy, but could be wrong, you know. But I bought a lot of Litecoin actually in this range. Why? Because we swept the lows here, had unswept highs here, and I thought from this range, right, it was bonking against this resistance, and I thought it was gonna break out and absolutely sent. Unfortunately, the other thing happened. I'm still holding, but yeah, that's the reason why I personally am not buying more. But if you don't have any, in my opinion, $88 for Litecoin is cheap. Right? Anyways, BNB, let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Oof. I'm quickly gonna check something. Yeah, ugly, right? Hopefully go for the lows next. Those three. And as you can see, those low time frame sweeps might turn into this being the bigger sweep that leads to the higher time frame lows down here. It's like a sort of fractal inside a fractal, you know? But yeah, I hate fractals, so I don't like saying it. But yeah, so BNB next. Basically trading in a huge range, right? On the weekly, on the monthly, it's just been trading inside a range. Ugly range, I admit. Ugly wicks to the upside that looked like breakouts. Ugly wicks to the downside, like making higher lows here, sort of. Maybe liquidity resting below there, I don't know. But what is important is that a lot of charts of altcoins have seen huge downside and breaking down, while if you compare them to BNB has just held up very strong and is still trading within the same range. Is that strength? Is that CZ holding prices in between two boundaries? I don't know, but I'm as Binance being one of the biggest, if not the biggest exchange out there, I think holding BNB is a pretty good move as well. So I have BNB as well, bought more recently as well with the profits of the 10K account that we're trading in Discord. As I said, I'm fully into spot my Bitcoin bags. I bought more Bitcoin, BNB, and Litecoin. I admit BNB and Litecoin I bought way too high. Bitcoin I bought the dip at 81. But yeah, I'm fully into spot. So if everything starts sending, that's also why I'm a little less aggressive on futures, as I'm very big in spot. So if things decide to send from here, I can definitely live with it. See, what I just told you about no clean draw on liquidity, you're gonna get wicks to the upside, wicks to the downside. It's looking good, it's looking bad. And the worst thing you can do then is try to trade it on the lower time frames. And I'm talking really low time frames, and especially flip-flop. Like, people now will be, oof, bullish sweep, I'm gonna long. Then they see the wick to the upside, it starts dumping, and they're like, oof, no, I'm gonna close, I'm gonna flip short. And then it bounces again, oof, no, I'm gonna flip long again. You see, I've been there, done that. Either stay flat until we break out up or down, or try once and that's it. And just don't touch the position until stopped out or take profit. All right, so Ethereum, BNB, I think we covered the most important ones, at least the ones I'm holding. Spots, maybe Doggy, if we want to look at a meme. Where is it? Doggy. Doge. Overall, bullish. Oh yeah, Sol, of course. Also holding Sol. Same thing for Dogecoin. The monthly close wasn't bad. We swept the lows, closed strong, but straight up from the open is concerning. But I do think there's a good chance that we see last month's, two past monthly candles high, so up here, into monthly range mean or weekly range mean, however. And then we'll see if we break above there. It's off to range highs again. Above range highs, I think we see new all-time highs. But we'll have to see about that, how overall memes are gonna react if Bitcoin is gonna trade to, like, let's say 130k. So we'll see about that. So let's do Sol as well. Solana, very good sweep of all of these lows in my opinion. Back into a key level, like if you, I'm not sure how this is drawn, but if you mark it out from all the way back here, you can see it's just pivotal price action around that area, right? Here, here, whoops, here, and then all the way here support, and now bouncing from the same area after sweeping this. So you could draw your range. Hold on. From these highs, what were the lows? These lows. Boom. As you can see on the lower time frames, range mean has been very pivotal, right? Resistance, resistance, back above, support, send. Sorry. Wicked into resistance, so that's gonna be resistance as well. Monthly, super strong, very strong close, one of the strongest, but straight up from the open, no wick to the downside. Mark that out. Monthly flat low. Go to the lower time frames. It's very close actually. So yeah, we'll see. Not sure, this doesn't have to go for this week again. Why? Because this week took a lot of low time frame liquidity already, so it doesn't have to go for it again. So maybe just a quick dip here and then higher. But overall, I really like the look of Solana. Weekly close above range mean means higher towards range highs. And then, yeah, where is key resistance? Before all-time highs, probably all the way up here, because that's sideways price action that led to lower, and of course it lines up with resistance here. So then, yeah, we'll have to see about the weekly closes. If it's like a wick in there and rejection, it probably means a lot more ranging. If it smashes above here and closes strong on the weekly, buy the retest and hold for much higher. Alright, so I think that was everything from me, from the alts I wanted to cover. So now feel free to post some tickers in the chat. Only alts that are on the big exchanges, so Blowfin, Bybit, Binance. No low cap memes, please. All right. Just quickly gonna grab a drink. Right, what was the first one? INA. Yeah, high time frame. I've been saying the same shit, like this is demand on high time frame, but I've got to admit that it just looks horrible. Very weak price action in my opinion. Monthly already looking red, so that's not a good sign. So I'm not sure what's happening to this one, but I would wait. Whoops. Okay. So I would wait with this one. On the lower time frames, yeah, I mean, I would say don't bother looking for longs if it looks this weak on the higher time frames. So I would just sit out. I still think that at one point we will sweep all of liquidity below here, above there, but maybe we will do something like this, wick above it, a wick below the lows, and then send to the highs. All right. Next. Ave. See, this one already looks better. Why? A lot of ranging here, broke out, and then just absolutely nuked. And this is the first time it retested all of this. So that's gonna be big demand, in my opinion. So weekly looking good, monthly, yeah, same shit. Low time frame. Oof, I like this sweep. I like this sweep. Where's the flat? Difficult one. Maybe if you get a dip somewhere there and then boom, and keep your invalidation a little bit wider. But yeah, overall I really like it. It's looking good. Target wise, yeah, all of these highs, you know. Lots of unswept liquidity to the upside here, here, here. First target would be up here. So if you can play it on a low time frame, you see something like, no wait, if you get the dip, yeah, you could try with a stop loss there, but I prefer keeping it a little further away just in case you wick this one and then bounce. So something like this, maybe average entry around there, and then your target there would already be 2.6R. That's not bad. Yeah, I like this one. We'll keep an eye on it. Hype. We did a really nice trade on Hype in this range, from down here to range highs here. But yeah, it's looking really strong, you know. but key resistance. So I would say, yeah, if you're gonna spam, I'm just gonna ban you, you know. What even is KTA? Okay. What were we saying? Yeah, hype. So as you can see, we've seen a lot of ranging in this area, and then we broke down from it. So if we're bearish here, I think we take liquidity above these local highs, and then we should start dumping. And what I mean with that is, if we don't start dumping from there and we start ranging here again, then the chances increase a lot that we just rip a lot higher. So I'll keep an eye on this, but for now it's in the middle of nowhere. Right? It went for some liquidity higher, can still wick above there, but at that point I think we see a little bit lower first. If it doesn't, like I said, I'll be looking for longs to trade it higher, and at that point off to here, and yeah, new all-time highs here. What's Bitcoin doing? Oof, looking strong again. We'll see. So hype we did. SPX 6900 is not on big exchanges, or is it? No, we're not gonna do that one. Sin. Let's see. Oof. High time frame lows gone, but the thing I don't like is this move, because this move already grabbed liquidity to the upside. You know what I mean? If it would have looked like this, so exactly the same. Wait, how do I do this? If it would have looked exactly the same, and we went down from, wait, should be a little bit more, yeah, and we went down from here, sweeping the lows and reclaiming them, then we would have a drawn liquidity towards here. You know what I'm saying? But now we already swept the highs into supply, went for a lower low down here. So that lowers the probability of a trade like this succeeding. So that's not what I like. But yeah, it could still send from here. It aggressively swept the lows, saw a good bounce, and reclaimed the lows. But for me personally, I wouldn't take it. I think chances of us just doing this and bleeding lower are too high. Let's see what else. Dia. Let's see. Nah, I mean, you can already see that it's been making. I expected a lot from this as well when it was like still trading here. But right now, you see, high swept, boom, lower. It's a good example actually. See, tried to reclaim the lows, just got smacked lower. So I have no interest in trading coins that look like this. If you're holding this, like, I would consider just taking your loss. And I mean, you can clearly see the difference with the coins that we just talked about, right? And this one. These, it just looks like people are dumping them over and over again. And it has a lot of backholders that are hoping that prices are gonna go up, while just teams, or I don't know, people who got paid are just dumping on them. Popcat. Popcat looks nice. See, you can also already see the difference. Those others are trading here. This one already bounced nicely, swept the lows hard, but swept the highs as well. So we'll have to see. Maybe what comes down fast can go up fast. So maybe this breaks out a lot higher and starts running again. Definitely possible. But I also have a feeling that it's gonna have a lot of backholders. People who are willing to sell. But let's see the lower time frames. Just as a trade maybe. Range lows, range highs. So maybe swept. So some downside would make sense. Back to range mean, sweeping this, then bounce, reclaim, and then send a lot higher. Could be something like this. Maybe look for longs around range mean. One to keep an eye on as well, but right here, nah, I don't like shorting it because of the way Bitcoin is looking, but would definitely be interested in longing lower. Ondo. Also came down in here, flat weekly there, and swept the highs, so yeah. Not liking this. And liquidity here, liquidity here. That was the level that got swept. Lining up with high time frame demand and key level. So if I were to buy this, my first buys would be here. Or if you reclaim this with strength above this range high level, so invalidating that this was the sweep that leads to lower, at that point then you target up here. It's a clean plan, you know, so also one to keep an eye on, but not where it's trading at right now. Whatever you have time for, not necessarily all. I'll do the ones, I'll do Altcoin, since there was a lot of talking about it, right? Let's actually take a different chart. Yeah, this one. Yeah, our plans for this one played out beautifully. Up here we marked out our range. We said we wanted to see a sweep of the lows and then trade it towards here. That target got slightly front run, but it's still looking super solid, strong. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just gonna put in another leg. High time frame. Yeah, I mean, one of the strongest memes, you know. Oof, that monthly close. Maybe mark this out. Maybe towards there. if you get dips and then target here, that could be nice. But yeah, if you're holding this from lower, I would just be holding. If you want to get in, yeah, up here is risky but could work. I'd maybe then buy some here, and then if you go lower, just buy more and start selling at 1.6 maybe, and hold some in case it really wants to pull to new all-time highs. But if there is one that has a chance to run all-time highs and run hard, it's probably this one. If you compare it with other memes, it's one of the strongest ones. Right. Do you also see a scenario where Bitcoin keeps sending? Yeah, sure. As I said, I'm really bullish on the higher time frames. I just don't like the current look of the monthly. But if Bitcoin starts doing this and invalidating me, yeah, then I think Bitcoin is just gonna send to 130k, as it did with this monthly, right? I was also thinking that we would at least come back to this flat bottom. And what was my invalidation? Running away from it and closing strong. And that's what it did. And as you can see on the weekly, it's already continuing to go up. So why not? I am really bullish. Otherwise, I wouldn't be fully into spot with my crypto portfolio. I literally have almost no stables left, except for what's in the 10k account that I didn't withdraw. Right, but I'm gonna hop off now. I covered quite a lot, I think, also on Bitcoin. Let's see what we get. Maybe locally sweep the highs and then finally see some downside. Those dips are gonna be the one that you wanna buy, in my opinion. I will talk about it more in the Discord. If you wanna join, simply sign up to Blowfin and start trading there. That's all I'm asking. I'm not taking your money. Just use my link in the description. We are doing a lot of giveaways as well. We did one last week. We will do more. All you have to do is trade on that link. Leave a like if you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week. Bye.